Friends, let us start with rule 33, that is value of supply of services in case of pure agent. These italicized words are from the act. Okay, I will directly skip to the points to remember, where you will understand what is a pure agent and how this valuation will be done. Pure agent is one who works for the principal with his name. He enters into contracts with the name of principal. Intention of pure agent is not to owe the title or interest in the goods or services received or supplied. All such expenditure incurred by supplier as a pure agent shall be deducted from value of supply. Only actual cost shall be recovered or reimbursed from the principal which is incurred during the execution of principal's work. Now, what do you mean by this? Consider this example. There is a new company to be formed, and new company wants to get its name registered. New company will go to CS firm, and this CS firm will go to registrar of companies and get its work done. In this case, CS firm will act as pure agent. Okay, so new company will be paying the service charges plus registration fees plus incidental charges to the CS firm. Now CS firm will pay registration fees to the registrar of companies plus incidental charges from pocket. If registrar says you have to pay some extra money other than registration fee, then CS firm will pay it from the pocket. But you tell me one thing, friends. CS company is registering the name of new company. Do you really think this CS firm is registering its own name? The answer is no. It is registering the new company's name. It is not owing. CS firm is not owing any title or the interest in goods or the services which it is providing. And when all the registration fees are paid, when registrar of company is satisfied, he will issue the documents in the name of new company to the new company directly. And whatever incidental charges CS firm has paid to the registrar, it will recover from the new company in the name of incidental charges. This is the concept of pure agent. Hope this is understood. Okay, the same example is given in the illustration. All these things are given in your notes. Please go through that. Here is an illustration we will see. Amit and his friends start a new business in Belgium and decide to register the business a private limited company. Amit seeks the help of Messrs. Sharma Associates, which is a professional firm giving all legal services. The firm charges 10,000 rupees for new company registration. Amit agrees to pay 10,000 rupees and requests the firm to pay any incidental charges if arises during the registration process. Messrs. Sharma Associates registers the new company's name as Amit Traders Private Limited and gives following expenses list to the Amit and tells him to reimburse the same. Okay, these are the expenses incurred by Messrs. Sharma Associates, and this thing will be recovered from the Amit Traders Private Limited. Let us see. Registration fee 10,000, name approval fee 2,000, documentation fee charged by ROC 3,000, travel expenses for 3 days, that is 3,500, and meal charges, food 1,500. Determine which of the above expenses can be reimbursed by Messrs. Sharma Associates under Rule 33. Let us see the solution. Messrs. Sharma Associates is a professional firm and acts as pure agent for Amit. Thus, only such expenses which are in accordance with the contractual work can be allowed as an reimbursement. Please understand this. So these are such things which are allowed for reimbursement, like registration fees, name approval fees, and documentation fees charged. These are not allowed. Travel expenses for 3 days, meal charges, these are not allowed. And therefore value of supply in this case will be 10,000 registration fees, 3,000 documentation fees by ROC, and 2,000 name approval fees, that is rupees 15,000 will be the value of supply in this case. Who will pay 15,000? Amit Traders, to whom? To Messrs Sharma Associates, who is acting as a pure agent. So this is the concept of pure agent. Rule 34, rate of exchange of currency other than Indian rupees for determination of value. In this case, friends, wherever there is import or export of goods, there will be more than one currency involved. It means if you are importing, you are involved in Indian rupees plus that currency which the other country is exporting. Okay, similar thing goes with the export as well. Now what it says, explanation I have given in simple. For transaction in goods, exchange rate applicable will be as given by Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs. Okay, Central Board for Central Board for Indirect Taxes and Customs, as on the time of supply as determined by section 12. This is section 12 of CGST Act, deals with time of supply for goods, and section 13 of CGST Act deals with time of supply for services. Okay, for services, what is the exchange rate applicable? It is as given by GAAP, generally accepted accounting principles, as it is used in the accounting books, as on the time of supply as determined by the section 13. Hope you have understood this point. Rule 34. I will use Hindi for explanation. आपने अगर इंपोर्ट किया है या फिर एक्सपोर्ट किया है गुड्स का, तो एक्सचेंज रेट CBIC का हम फॉलो करेंगे. जो CBIC देगा वही हम फॉलो करेंगे. अगर आप सर्विस इंपोर्ट करते हैं या फिर सर्विस एक्सपोर्ट करते हैं, तो आप अपने बुक ऑफ अकाउंटिंग बुक में तो इंटर तो करेंगे ही ना. अगर अकाउंटिंग बुक में आप वैल्यू ऑफ सप्लाई एंटर कर रहे हैं, तो आप गैप फॉलो कर रहे हैं. इसलिए whatever value of supply you enter in the accounting books, that is what we are going to follow, right? So that is the rule 34. And what is rule 35? This rule 35 is really very easy. Value of supply inclusive of GST. Wherever value of supply inclusive of GST we get, we are calculating the tax amount using the formula, and this formula is given value inclusive of taxes into rate in percentage of IGST, or as the case may be CGST or SGST or UTGST, divided by 100 plus sum of taxes as applicable in percentage. Okay, look at this formula to calculate tax amount: value inclusive of taxes into tax rate divided by 100 plus tax rate. I have given you an example here. Shabbir supplies paints to retail shops. In the month of May 2021, he supplied goods worth rupees 2,36,000 including GST at 18%. What is the value of supply? Solution: value inclusive of taxes will be equal to 2,30,000, which is given in the question. GST rate is 18%. Use the formula. Value inclusive of taxes, that is 2,36,000 into 18. Do not write 18% over here. 18 divided by 100 plus 18. you will get tax amount that is 36,000. So 36,000 is included in the 2,36,000 amount. Value of supply will be value inclusive of taxes minus taxes, that is value of supply will be 2 lakh. This is rule 35. This ends your unit number 2, friends. There is a little concept, export and import of goods and services, which is given in your syllabus. This one I will make separate video where you will understand these concepts. Okay, so this ends your valuation rules. Okay, rule 27 to rule 35. Any doubts and clarifications, please comment below. Thank you. See you in next video.